Kamen Rider Ryuki.
Rider Belt Week Day 6, and now we are entering alien territory for me. See, to be honest, I've never been a Ryuki fan. The show never held my interest. I really don't like the costume designs. It just never did anything for me. And now I have to review the belt. The V-buckle. Well, let's put my animosity toward the show aside. We will look at the piece of plastic before us, and only the piece of plastic before us. As you can see, it's a big chrome thing. Honestly, detail-wise, it really does let me down. I mean, it's flat everywhere. There's a little bit of black in some sections, and, we're ignoring this because that's where the advent deck's going to go later. But molding-wise, there's a few lines in it, and, you can see lines up here, a few little spots of blue, a little bit of red. That's really it. I mean, think about the Agito belt that came before it. Tons of paint, tons of detail work, really, really nice-looking belt, elegant even. And then look at Fi's later on. Very futuristic, very technological, a lot of little molded detailings. Looked great. And now in the middle is this little ugly duckling that doesn't look like anything. Like, I suppose you could argue the chrome does invoke the mirror theme of the show. At the same time, it feels almost apologetic because, as most know, this is not a very heavily featured belt. There's not a lot to this one at all. Bandai has chrome belts before when they didn't do a whole lot. Even if it did make them inaccurate to the show, which almost feels like an apology. But, it is what it is. We'll just review it for, well, what it is. To finish off here with the detailing, you can see the familiar shape that we also saw on Fi's belt. Yeah, they pretty much use that same socket for pretty much everything that's supposed to hang off the side of them. Even up to Kabuto they had these. And it is a version 1 belt. Can unclasp off this side. Much bigger hunk than usual though. And much thinner pieces that go in and hook on. That leaves me worried of future breakage. So that's the belt, and that's all that really does. We need to get in. As you can notice, chrome also shows a lot of fingerprints, it shows a lot of dust, and it scratches easily. So the only way of making sure you get one that actually looks decent is to buy it brand new, which makes it more expensive. Yeah, I really don't like this much chrome on a toy. Here, let's get it out of the way so we can look at the advent deck. And here it is, Ryuki's main prop. You can see Drag Rider's head, or Ryuki's symbol, whichever one you prefer, in gold chrome on the front, and little silver lines of chrome as well, giving it a little bit of extra detailing. You can see some extra molded texture in there too. This type of chrome is fine. It's small, it sets off the detailing of this piece, and works well. Completely flat on the back, just a hinge, and actually a card slot. You can actually lift this open, and inside is a springboard of sorts. This is where cards are going to go. I guess I need a card for that now, don't I? Hang on. Let me see if I have one. Okay, oh, wait. Every time I do this, what I'm looking for is supposed to be staring me right in the face. Oh, wait. Hang on, I got it. Yeah, you got me, Olmec. So, here we are, back with a card, and yeah, it's an advent card, alright. Though, at this point of the review, you'll probably notice something a little odd. That's not quite the right logo, is it? Yeah, I'm reviewing the Korean release of this toy, not the Japanese. And no, it is the exact same quality, does the exact same things. It is essentially the exact same toy, except the Japanese has been printed in Korean. That's pretty much all they changed. And a lot of toys out of Korea for Kamen Rider, that's all they change. In fact, I really only think Double's toys had any real change, and that was re-recorded audio. Other than that, they all have the same build quality, they have the same plastic quality, same electronic quality. I'm putting off the next part of this review as much as possible. Let's just move on. Here comes the deck again. pushing down that little springboard, sliding it into place, closing it down in. There's the little window for the card. Let's just go ahead and get it over with. First off, we have to turn it on in order to play the electronics, don't we? Not bad. You can see where the LED is, at least. Now, to henshin, we line it up on the track inside and slide it in, making sure that lid is closed and goes completely underneath. It's going to hit a little button here that will tell the belt that a deck is in place. So, sliding in, henshin. And that's pretty much it. Now, keep in mind, even though my Agito belt's lights don't work when spinning, it was still a much cooler effect and much cooler sound than this. And Fives, I say the exact same thing. This is a real letdown compared to the belts that came before and after. I mean, it's just so boring. Just barely does anything. A little tiny blinking light that really doesn't have any meaning whatsoever. Oh well. You want to know what else it does? It lets you extract this card. It's angled, so the card will actually slide up and bend itself. So I hope you don't put any rare Yu-Gi-Oh cards in it or anything. If we slide it all the way out, it's going to hit a little button on that red square. Unless I completely miss, which is another flaw behind this. You're supposed to drag the whole thing across with your thumb, and it makes it do this. That is it. Here, you want me to do it for real? Here. Yeah, don't leave it in place either if it gets annoying. And it still doesn't impress me. It's a little tiny noise when drawing a card. It doesn't even sound like a card being drawn. Completely underwhelming all the way around. Oh, you slide out. Doesn't do anything when you slide it out. But we are not quite done, unfortunately. Because in fact, for the Korean version, not only do you get Knight's deck as well, you also get this one for Zolda. Yep, 3 Advent decks. So, let's try this one out as well. Gee, I wonder what will happen. Yeah, same exact thing. Yeah, no surprise there. And now for Zolda. Let's see, does it do the same thing? Exact same thing. It really, it's unfortunate because that really does kind of rob it of identity when they all have the exact same henshin noise. I guess this is what happens when you put 13 riders in one show. They simplified things down to this level. To be fair to this toy, it's not the main electronic piece of the year. It's actually the drag visor, where you would use these types of cards in order to actually create real sound effects. This time, the belt was pretty much just a small accessory. It's just a card holder. And it's really sad that it was reduced to that level, considering the belt is traditionally the main thing to do with a rider. The only real credit I can give it is visual variety. With 3 decks, you can technically represent 3 different Kamen Riders with it. And while it's only 2 for the Japanese release, either way, extra visual variety, especially if you plan to display this, is always a really good thing. It's also the only really good thing going for it. Now, there is an alternative. There is a version that has not only a silver paint job to look show accurate, it also has 13 of these decks. And just in case you bought the original version and already have Knight and Ryuki's decks, that version contains the 2 Survive versions of the deck. Even though I've been told this is pretty much what the Survive deck looks like, and this is the one that's miscolored. Either way, there is an alternative. An extremely expensive one, and guess what? The sound effects are still lame. And that is that. I've given this thing way more time than it deserves. It is a very dull belt. It doesn't do a whole lot. Its detailing is less than spectacular. And the chrome is not show accurate, and ultimately will just make this toy look really bad as it starts scratching up. Recommended to the hardcore Ryuki fans if you can find it dirt cheap. Otherwise, just invest in a drag visor and like a hole puncher. You'll do a lot better that way. Well, it's not the best way of kicking off the weekend for Rider Belt Week. I've only got one review left. Now I really do have to go big. I can't end on something as lame as this. So tune in tomorrow. I'll be wrapping up the week of reviewing with something a lot better featured than this.